trees, they are singing to the tune of a song.
I'm sure you've seen a car vlog. Well, this is a golf cart vlog. Bet you haven't seen one of those before. Welcome in, I'm Kimberly. This is Pretty Over 50, where we talk everything beauty, fitness, and lifestyle for the over 50 and over 60 woman. I'm 67. I keep saying that. I just think people maybe are going to come here thinking they're getting young girl makeup tips. That's not what we do here. If you're new here, I'm so glad you stopped by for this one. It's going to be a little bit different, hopefully a little bit fun. I hope you'll consider subscribing before you leave and make sure you click that notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. And if you want all the good stuff, you might want to sign up for my Sunday morning email newsletter. Newsflash, it comes out on Sunday mornings. The link is in the description box down below. It is far and away the most popular thing about my channel. It comes out every Sunday morning. It's short, it's sweet, it's filled with all the cool things I found throughout the week, maybe a sale you missed or a good piece of information or a great recipe that you might want to try. It's all in the Sunday email newsletter. Super short, super sweet, super free, easy to sign up. The link is in the description box down below. I think you're gonna love it. Today we're doing something I've never done before, and that is an assumptions video. And the way that I got this idea is I saw another YouTuber doing it. I thought, oh, okay, I'll try that. I have not done that before. Assumptions videos are what you guys assume about me and what the actual truth is. So a few months ago, it's actually been that long, I put out a call for who had assumptions about me, and I made note of them, and we're going to talk about them today. But first, I want to tell you about my week. I had such a fun week here. I kayaked 3 times, twice at Rainbow River and once at Silver Springs. That's my deal. When I hit the water in my boat, oh my gosh, that is my best feeling I think I have all week. So I kayaked 3 times, filmed a bunch of videos. You know, I have another channel that I've started. It's doing fairly well, and that keeps me busy too. So it really was a fun week. Right now, it's actually late Sunday afternoon, and I was just puttering around the house. I've got this new project that I'm working on, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to take a little break, go on down, sit out in the fresh air, and film this assumptions video. So that's where we are. I have a whole bunch of them on my phone, and I picked ones that seemed to have the most interest, like they had the most thumbs up, or people commented, or this or that, or if it was something that continually came up, I went ahead and threw it into the list. Here's the deal, you guys. I have no secrets from you. None. You guys know me so thoroughly. I don't even know why we are doing this, because you pretty much have me nailed. But there are a few things that people sort of saw in a different way, or maybe got a little opposite of what the truth was. So I thought we'd kind of clear that up today. So I have them on my phone, which is why I'm wearing my glasses, so I can actually see. Alrighty, so here's the first one. And you know what? I did not write down the names of the people just because it was a privacy issue. I wasn't sure if people would appreciate that. So if you put an assumption in and I read it, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I just was trying to be thoughtful to the people who wrote the little comments. So the first one is, I love your channel. Thank you very much. I have learned so much from you. I'm so glad. I've learned a lot too. The assumption is, I assume you are an old soul that has suffered silently but bravely, highly intelligent and more introverted than you let on. Well, thank you. Here are the comments that I have about that assumption. You know, we talk about old souls and new souls. That's something that I'm still really curious about, because I don't think that I have a definitive opinion about that. And on my other channel, we talk about spiritual stuff. That's the whole topic of the channel. I'm going to ask somebody in the coming weeks what defines an old soul and a new soul. And if you think about it, if we're all sparks of the divine, that would indicate that we were all just created at the same time. So why would some of us be older and some of us be newer? Or maybe it's just that some of us have spent more time on earth than others. Maybe that's it. And then the second part that says you're more introverted than you let on. That's so true. People probably think or would assume I'm the life of the party. I'm not at all. And as a matter of fact, when I'm out, I'm usually doing the least talking of anyone. particularly if it's a larger group. If it's one-on-one, then I really enjoy that. I'm not a party person. I'm not a big crowd person. There's very few things that I enjoy doing other than the things I enjoy doing. Does that make sense? So kayaking I love, being creative I love. I love to do my YouTube channels. That's fun work for me. I love to hang with a few close friends, but other than that, I'm a pretty quiet person. I spend a lot of time alone. The next comment says, I followed you from California to Aiken, South Carolina. I noticed your earthly possessions minimal, but very tastefully done. Thank you very much. I have heard your various stories of travel, so I assume you are either independently wealthy, either inheritance or sold a company. That was one comment. And then there was another comment, an assumption that was very similar. It reads, your videos are so informative. Thank you very much. I assume you must be financially well off to be able to move and start again in new homes. Here's the interesting thing. I think a lot of people assume that I'm independently wealthy or something, which no, I'm not at all, not even close. And I know that a lot of you might think that because I traveled outside of the country full time for 2 years. Now, here's the thing to keep in mind. We who live in the United States don't realize how incredibly expensive this country is. It is ridiculously expensive to live in the US. And because we live here, we're kind of like frogs being boiled in a pot slowly. We don't realize how incredibly expensive it is to live in the United States. My rent, I rent my house here in the Villages. My rent right now, just my rent, not my utilities, not my cable, not my gasoline for my car, nothing, just my rent is more than twice as much that I would live on completely in a different country. That's the truth. I traveled for 2 years and all I had was a carry-on suitcase and a backpack. That's all I had for 2 years. A carry-on suitcase that went over my seat, in the little compartment up there, and a backpack. That's all I had for 2 years, and it was fine. I lived so inexpensively for those 2 years. It was amazing. We don't realize how incredibly expensive the US is. My rent when I was traveling around, and I was like slow traveling. In other words, for instance, I started in Tulum, which is in the Caribbean of Mexico. I was in Tulum, I think, for 4 or 5 months. My rent was like $400 a month. And then food, maybe $150 food for at the house. And then when you'd go out to eat with friends, it was maybe $3 or $4 for your meal. We don't realize how crazy it is to live in the US. So the answer is no, I'm not independently wealthy. I'm normal. I'm average. And I just don't spend money, a lot of money. The things that I spend money on are my health. In other words, I do take supplements and I do take other things that I'm willing to spend money on because if I don't feel good, nothing happens. And I spend money on travel, and I did buy a really nice kayak. It was one big, splurgy purchase because kayaking is my deal, and I bought my dream kayak. It was like $850, so it wasn't super expensive, but I could have got cheaper kayaks, but I got a nice kayak. So I don't really spend a lot of money. In other words, I'm not a shopper. I'm not one of those people that has to have a fancy car or anything. I'm just fine. I'm just fine with a comfortable lifestyle, and that's what I have. So no, I'm not independently wealthy. I do fine. I'm okay. Things are okay, but no. I'm not independently wealthy, can fly around the world and, stay in Monaco and that sort of thing. No, I always stayed in countries that were much more affordable than the US. One thing I want to comment about the assumptions that were written in is everyone was so nice. I mean, everyone was so nice. So nice, I couldn't believe it. And then I realized, Kimberly, the people who don't like you are not going to write an assumption. These are the people that like you. So it was definitely a skewed, list of people. But thank you guys so much. You were so sweet and so nice. It just tickled me. Okay, here's one that kind of nailed it. You know how I say in my videos, it just means the world to me when you take a few minutes out of your day to spend it with me. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you. I cannot tell you how true that is. And I'll read this comment. There's two of them, and then I'll tell you the backstory. She says, I assume your YouTube journey saved you more than you ever thought it would and needed. Plus, I think you found your place for a while in Florida. It seems you had made a peace within you. And then the other comment was, I assume you had some great challenges in your life and are still very sad, but you have determined to overcome those and live your life doing the things you love. I love your independence and resilience. There is truth to that. Here's the story, and some of you already know this, and if you don't know this, hang on to your heart. It's going to make you a little sad. In 2018, my youngest daughter died. And I'll tell you what, it is everything they say it is as far as being excruciatingly painful. Excruciatingly painful. And it's the realization on top of that that the worst thing that can happen to a parent happened to me. I was just so leveled by it. And I spent a year sitting in bed crying and crocheting and watching YouTube makeup videos. And why would I watch YouTube makeup videos? Because it was soothing. It was relaxing. It wasn't deep. It was something that took my mind off of things. And I spent a year working through it. And then finally, at the end of that year, it was getting about a year, I thought, you know what, Kimberly? You're going to have to get out of bed sooner or later. And I was looking around for something that would make me want to get out of bed, that was worth getting out of bed for, something that I was interested in or that I could find a reason to get up in the morning and do. And I had this thought that I could start a skincare channel for older women, because I looked in the mirror after a year of crying and I looked horrible. I'm not kidding you. I was one beat down gal. I was not healthy. I was very fluffy. My skin was terrible. I'd never taken care of my skin. You know, just nothing was clicking in my life. It wasn't working. And I thought, I wonder if I can fix my skin, and I wonder if I can do a YouTube channel and document the journey. And so I thought, okay, that might be a good concept. So I thought, well, let's have some criteria, because, you know, I could go out and get a facelift or a nose job or I don't know, whatever. Eye lift or whatever. And I thought, you know what? For enough money, if you've got enough money, you can get anything done in this lifetime here on earth. And I thought, what if it was all at home and as affordable as possible? Because I thought, you know, there are a lot of women that can't afford to get plastic surgery, and there are a lot of women that just don't want to do that. I wonder what you can do at home with at-home devices and skincare. And so that's what I did. So I launched the channel and I started in, and I thought that a bonus of doing that was that I might meet some other women, you know, that had YouTube channels too, and develop a little friendship with them. And that ended up happening. I have made some nice friends, and you're right when you said that. The person who commented, it saved me. You guys saved me. You showed up. You kept showing up. You were nice. We learned a lot together. I learned a ton about skincare. It was interesting. I like to do research. I like to figure things out. And, you know, it's been a fun journey, and it did save me. It absolutely 100% saved me. So when I say at the end of my videos, you don't know how much it means to me, I'm serious. You don't know how much it means to me. So thank you. Thank you for being there for me, because you guys saved me. Okay, here's one that's kind of funny. It says, I assume that you're a leader and like to be in control, oversee projects and groups. No, not at all. It's not that I don't feel like I have leadership skills. I do feel like I can figure things out. That's one thing I count on myself for, is being able to figure things out. Sometimes I'm way overconfident, and I'll admit that. Sometimes I get in over my head, but I don't like to work in groups. I don't like to lead. I don't like nothing like that. I'm not a group person. I'm an independent person. Now, if you give me a job and say, okay, go do this, I will go and figure it out. And I'll find the people I need to help me do it. But as far as working in groups and being a leader of a group, no. I'm the last person that you want for that job. Okay, the next one says, I assume you enjoy your independence and are not interested in a romantic partnership. That's absolutely true. I do enjoy my independence. And you know what's funny is that I have been divorced for, 25 years, a long time. I was married for 20 years and I've been divorced a long time now. I've had so much fun since I got divorced. I'm not kidding you. So much fun. And I have had relationships, and I've had some fun relationships. I haven't had one in a while, not because I'm not open to it. I would be open to it. I just haven't met anybody whose company I find irresistible. I just haven't. I haven't met anyone. I don't spend a lot of time looking for a relationship. As a matter of fact, I don't spend any time looking for a relationship. But if it happens, it happens. But one thing I do enjoy is my independence, and that's probably might be a deal killer in a lot of relationships because I'm very independent. I'm very fast moving when it comes to decisions. I'm very fast moving when it comes to adopting new things into my life. So I don't know if that would be very good for a relationship. Okay, the next one nailed it. She says, I assume you're a very spiritual person, which I am, and I assume that you believe in a bit of the woo-woo world. No, not a bit. I believe in all of it. I'm a very, very spiritual person because I've had so many experiences in my life that show me that our reality, the reality that we live in, is very, very different than what the norm assumes or what the general narrative is. It's very, very different. And the greater reality to me is much more interesting and much more fascinating and much more powerful than we really even know. And that's what my other channel is all about. It's exploring the nature of our reality, which I find fascinating. So when it comes to the woo-woo world, I am your tour guide. That's really my deal. Okay, here's an interesting one, and actually one that is opposite, or at least I think it's opposite of what the assumption was. And two people wrote about it. One says, I don't think you have a super close relationship with your daughter, but of course you love her dearly and want her to live the life she wants to live. So that was one. And then the next one is, I assume you have a good but distant relationship with your daughter because you've traveled and moved so much. Well, you know what's funny is that I actually think that my daughter and I are very, very close. And I don't know that living near her is an indication, or the fact that I don't live near her is an indication that we're not close. I mean, we are messaging each other or sending each other memes or Instagram posts or funny little things every single day. We are back and forth. We just had like an hour conversation earlier today. We're very close, and as a matter of fact, since she's become an adult, over 21. I don't know, is that really an adult yet? We've actually lived together a couple of times when, I was moving around or here or there. And we enjoy each other very much. I love her to death. She's an exceptional young gal. She just got married in February, and I helped a lot with the wedding. She gave me a lot of good jobs, which was fun. But I think we're very close. Here's one of the things I can say about living close to her. She lives in California. I'm from California. There's just a lot of reasons right now that California is not a place that I would choose to live. Number one, it is so incredibly expensive, and the taxes are ridiculous. The housing is ridiculous. The traffic is ridiculous. I mean, there's so much there that is a deal killer for me. Although I love California. I think California has incredible natural beauty. Lake Tahoe is my favorite place on the planet, and I've lived there a couple of times, although I lived on the Nevada side of Lake Tahoe. But, if I lived in California, like let's say I moved back to California, how often would I actually see my daughter? She just got married. She's got a gorgeous, wonderful, loving, kind, incredibly charming, delightful husband. I mean, when she told me about him and she said, Mom, he asked me to marry him and I really want to marry him. And my answer to her was, who wouldn't want to marry him? I mean, he's that good. He just got on with CAL FIRE. He's a fireman, and of course, gorgeous. It's a law, I guess, that firemen have to be gorgeous. He's gorgeous. All his friends are gorgeous. They're all firemen. How often would I really see her? She's got a life. She's got a ton of friends. They're very active with their friends. So if I lived in California, I'd be miserable because I don't really want to be there. And how often would I really see her? So the deal is that I fly back to California, a three times a year. She flies here a couple, 3 times a year. We're in touch all the time. So I think we're very close. Maybe someday we'll live close to each other. I mean, if they start having children, that would certainly change things. I happen to just really, really love Florida. I am having such a great time here. It is so beautiful. It kind of reminds me of what California used to be. You know, it's pretty, it's not very crowded, it's very affordable, there's a lot of outdoor things to do. I'm having a great time. So if I moved back to California right now, I'd be miserable and she wouldn't like my company. Okay, so now I want to read you guys the assumption that got the most comments, the most thumbs up, the most attention. It's kind of funny. There's some parts of it that I'm not sure about. A lot of it's true. So let's read it and then we'll talk about it. This gal says, "You probably know better than I, but I believe I've watched you about a year now. You are engaging, which is why I still watch and learn. Thank you very much. I believe you are one, intelligent. Thank you. I don't know if I'm intelligent. I think I just like to learn stuff. You like to be informed," which was number 2. Yes, I do like to be informed. And for me, it's not work. I mean, I love researching. I am very, very well read about what's going on the planet right now, what's going on Earth, the political scene. I'm up on a lot of stuff, not because I find it to be work or dreary or tiresome. It's because I am interested. I want to find out what's going on. So number 3, fearlessly independent. Yes, I am fearlessly independent. The surest way to get me to not do something is to tell me I have to do it. Oh boy, I do not like being told what to do. I just don't. Independence is very, very important to me. And I feel like if you're demanding that I do something, there's an agenda. And most likely that agenda is going to serve you and not me. So my hackles go up and my red flags go up the minute somebody demands that I do something. That's when you're going to get a big fat no from me. Let's see, 4, the mother of girls you love with one in that you grieve and miss. Yes, on both counts. Kind and smart. Thank you. Enough to cut through the rude comments knowing everyone is going through something. You know, I do get rude comments. Everybody does on YouTube. Generally, I don't even pay attention to them. They just don't make any difference to me. Everybody has a difference of opinion. Some people aren't going to like me. Every now and then something will get under my skin, but pretty generally, I just move on. Says you're naturally funny, but should show more blooper blunt comment reels so everyone catches it. I know I should do another blooper reel. I have one on the channel. Super funny because it's me swearing mostly about my cat. You can look for it down below. It's pretty fun. You're human and get hung up sometimes on an opinion you're passionate about. Now this is the one I don't get. She says you're human and can get hung up sometimes on an opinion you're passionate about, where I feel there is probably a backstory for your passion. ... COVID, no vax, unnecessary deaths circa 2021 can be personal to some of us, but I respect your road travel. So I'm not really sure what that means. Clearly I don't want to go down that road because it's so divisive right now. But I think if you know me and have watched me for a little bit, you can probably pretty much figure out what my opinion is on that. But my opinion is meaningless. It's one opinion in a world full of billions of people. You like to move around if your surroundings are not working for you, making the most of your years on Earth. And that's one thing that I'd like to say that I think I do good at. I don't spend time doing stuff I don't want to do, being places I don't want to be, being around people that I don't like. I just don't. I feel like we are all personally responsible for our experience here on Earth, and it's up to us to make the choices that are going to work for us. And I'm really, really finely tuned to that. At this age, I just don't suffer fools. I don't suffer bad situations. I don't suffer things that I don't want to do. I just don't do it anymore. And I think that as we are the age that we are, and I'm assuming you're close to my age, we have learned what we like to do. We've learned what we don't need to do. We've learned what works for us and what doesn't work for us. And mine is very, very highly attuned. I just don't do things that I don't want to do. And I've also learned that, and I know this sounds like such a cliche, everything is a choice. I can sit and feel sad about my daughter, or I can embrace the day today because I know I'm going to see her. As soon as I transition out of here, she's going to be right there. So I'm definitely going to see her. I know exactly where she is. I know that the time that we had together when she was here on earth will never go away. It always exists. So I really do try to focus on what can I do today that sounds fun. And a lot of days, if I'm not working, I will get up, have my coffee, and sit there and think, what sounds fun today? What sounds really fun? What gets me kind of like bubbly and giggly inside? What sounds fun? And that's what I'll do. And then last one, this is sweet. Great taste in skincare and makeup, legit recommendations. And 10, an animal lover with a green thumb. Thank you for that. I appreciate you saying that I have great recommendations. And you know, the skincare journey is I really wanted to find out what works. Can you fix your skin at home? Can you do it? You know, we have been told for decades that you can't make any meaningful improvements to your skin unless you go to a doctor and have surgery or have other treatments that are in office. And I wanted to find out if that was true. I thought, well, if it's true, then we'll know. If it's not true, then we'll know what you can do. So definitely we have found out in this almost 5-year journey now that you can do a lot to improve your skin. Now, would my skin look a lot different if I wouldn't have had a facelift? Yes, it would. But to be honest with you, for my taste, I don't know that it would look better because I'm not so sure that I don't appreciate naturally aging skin that's well cared for and in good shape. I'm not so sure that I don't appreciate that more. And we've all seen someone that's had some work done that it maybe didn't go how they thought it would, or maybe they like it, but we notice it. I don't know. Anyway, we have learned that you can do a lot to improve your skin at home very affordably and very effectively. So it's been a worthwhile journey and I've had a whole lot of fun. Well, that was my first assumptions video. That was kind of weird to sit here and talk about myself for that whole time. I don't know how long it's been. You guys got everything right. I mean, you pretty much know me. There's no secrets. I'm extremely independent. I do value sovereignty. I do like to travel. I do love my daughter. I do love good skincare. I like a healthy lifestyle. I like to feel good. So thank you for paying attention to me or noticing me. Thank you so much for showing up. I am not kidding you guys. The fact that you guys showed up, those of you who've been watching from the beginning and you keep showing up, that just means the world to me. And by golly, you guys did save me. So thank you so much for that. It just means the world to me. Again, I'm Kimberly. This is Pretty Over 50, where we talk everything beauty, fitness, and lifestyle for the over 50 and over 60 woman. 2.5 years, I'll be 70. I'm kind of actually okay with that. Except, you know, that one time when you look down on your phone and your camera's on and you go, oh my gosh, who's that old lady? I do that too. I wonder if you do. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.